Hi there, name's Chris, and this is a quick little Oculus Rift demo that I put together. I'm going to explain the motive. I happen to be developing a couple of FPV controlled cruise rockets, and while developing these FPV controlled cruise rockets, I have to use a laptop which is sort of shrouded in a box in front of me, so that the sun doesn't glare on the screen while I'm watching the video to pilot the aircraft using a joystick and rudders. So I obviously wanted to incorporate the Oculus Rift at some point for to help with the whole glare issue and just get rid of it altogether. Except I've been browsing the internet and I watched some pretty good demos where people fit their aircraft, for instance quadcopters, with a stereoscopic camera, 3D camera. And that video would feed to an image that is Rift friendly. It's adapted for the Rift, so you can actually watch it there. And while the realism is incredible and the immersion is incredible, the fact that the camera is fixed and that the motion is pretty swift, motion sickness sets in incredibly rapidly. It's even worse with monoscopic cameras, 2D cameras, because in that case, the image feels completely point blank, and then you get the motion sickness and the discomfort from the motion, and that leads to motion sickness, and then, well, you just can't bear it anymore. And if you're the pilot, it's pretty important to be able to bear your own FPV feed. So I figured, now, obviously there can be a solution with camera tracking, but camera tracking will have a delay, and that might actually make matters worse when it comes to motion sickness. I figured for now, because I'm stuck with a fixed monoscopic camera for my FPV flights, I figured I would move to use the Oculus Rift, but I didn't want to have a fixed image. I need something that still responds to my head tracking, and I also need, within that environment, something to separate the pilot from the video feed. And as you can see here, what I did is basically I designed a 3D environment on which you have just this huge screen and a sort of cockpit-ish design here that I put together incredibly rapidly. God, this is ugly. And it's ugly. It's got that rugged look, but this is really like super basic. It was the first time I was using Unity, and I put this together incredibly rapidly and got the video input onto this large virtual screen. I figured I would need a way to separate the head motion from the camera display. You can't have the thing just point blank in your face at all times. You need a separation, and you need this environment to respond to your head movement. So this is where I had the idea of sort of making a virtual cockpit in which you sit and you get the view, but if you move your head, the view will respond. It'll actually move away from your head, so that if you're moving your head during the flight, you're not going to get sick from the fact that the image is not moving at all, which is what I've seen in most FPV projects so far. So this is really just a way to simply adapt FPV to the Oculus Rift. Putting FPV to the Oculus Rift doesn't just involve shoving the video on the screen. You actually need a virtual environment to interact with the FPV content. And this was basically my goal right there. So it's like basically a theater, a sort of single person theater with a sort of cockpit like design in front of me. Look, this was done so quickly. I do plan on, now that I know that the basics work, I do plan on elaborating the looks a little bit just to make the pilot feel more comfortable sitting in this. But as you can see, so far the basics are really not complicated, as I really put this together in only a few hours. And I mean, this is actually flight ready. I could actually use this to fly the rockets at this point, and it is probably what I will be planning on doing. This virtual room is sort of just a giant version of the box I put around the laptop to sort of shroud it from the sun and not get glare on the screen. But basically this box is way taller, and I'm sort of able to sit inside of it. Well, virtually at least. Two birds, one stone. You get to see the Oculus Rift point of view, And you also get to see me wear the Oculus Rift. Let me try to get there. There we go. Hi everyone. I get away from the text. Yeah. So I'm basically just wearing the Oculus Rift inside my virtual cockpit right now. This is really cool. And I mean, I'd be basically holding a joystick with my feet on the rudders, the real rudders and the real joystick. And inside this environment, I would be seeing what I'm doing with the rocket, which is right now sitting on sitting on a table in front of me. Wow, this is disorientating. I'm pointing at the rocket right now. This is sitting on a table looking at me. So two birds, one stone. I just basically pointed the rocket my way, so I wouldn't have to put a separate camera filming me on the chair wearing the Oculus Rift.